So we're going to begin recording tonight's webinar in case anybody's missed it. Hopefully, raise your hand once you have. I just put everybody's hands down, but would you raise your hand one more time if you've gotten a Code Combat, you've registered? Very good. Excellent, folks. Okay, my name is Mr. D. I'm in for Mr. Taylor just this one time. Okay? Now, so we're going to go in and play. What you're going to do when it shows up, I'm going to go back here and play as if I was going in here for the first time. And I get my hero. Make sure you have your hero and make sure he's in Python. So if it could be her or him, just make sure it's Python. You hit save. Okay? Now my screen's acting up a little bit odd here, so that's why. And then you're going to start at Dungeons and Kingguard right here. And you're going to hit play. When you do that, you're going to equip his feet. Just as boots will come up, and you're going to hit equip by clicking on him. Now I'm going to go to a PowerPoint presentation right now, and that way my slides won't be flashing up and down so much, as I'm starting to see it act a little bit strange here. Okay? So get your character while I'm doing that and equip your character. All right. Code Combat is a fun, effective way to do it. All right. Now, I think we've got actually even a better slide than this. Let me go back. All right. So, what we're going to do, if you're going to be a programmer, you need to be able to programmer or an engineer. But what I was going to say is, an engineer, you also need to know some programming. Okay? So, here's what we've got. All right? This is, so welcome. You want to learn to code, huh? So, we're going to take you to dark arts of programming. It's a fun, addictive way. If you remember Clash of Clans, this is a way of doing it, but through programming. All right? And what you're going to do is you go through challenging puzzles and battle base levels. And as you go farther up, you're going to learn more and more code. It's actually pretty cool. And you're going to use real syntax, things you really use when you program. So, go to Code Combat, which you have done. You click on this big play button, and you sign up, which we have right here. Once you've entered your information, select First World Kithgard Dungeon. That's this one right there. Make sure you select your character and select Python. It's real important we're on Python today. All right? In this case, you've got this young lady here, and we've equipped her with the boots. All right? All right, so now we have that. And in the bottom right, there's an inventory. Look at your boats. If you click on your boats, these are going to give you different bits of little bit of code. So this first bit of code, let's watch it. I'm going to explain this, and then you're going to do a couple of the levels. And then we're going to come back and talk again. So you are going to get the code yourself. You're not just going to have me talking over you, and I'll help you out. So in this first one, we got self, move down. That's move the hero down, south a bit. And you'd use it by simple boots. You got self, move down, self, move left, self, move right, self, move up. All right, self, move down allows your character to move down. As you can imagine, And self is your character. Dot is the move down is the method. And it says, hey, move the character down. Move whoever I assign this to. Where sometimes you're going to learn about functions, they're a little bit different, like print and input. All right, and they take a bunch of grab of code. How many people have done Scratch? Raise your hand if you've done Scratch. Okay, we've got one, so we may go back and do some more Scratch then with everybody. We didn't want to keep doing Scratch. People have done them, but in Scratch we group a bunch of code. And this won't make sense if you haven't done Scratch, but you take a bunch of code and they made this one function. So a function is just a little piece of code, but what we're doing here are methods. And that's where it's specific. How it's different than a function, it's specific to what it is. In this case, it's self moved down. That's the person. But imagine it this way. On a bird, it might be bird.fly, parentheses, parentheses. Where on a fish, it would be fish.swim, parentheses, parentheses. So it's just a function specific to that. All right, someone's done some Python. Very nice. Well done. Well, then you'll crush through this. All right. So if methods are associated with a specific object, what does the object move down? Well, notice there's a parentheses after 2. It moves you down. And the object and the method are separated by a period. It's important. The object here is self, which refers to your player. Self is actually a variable. A variable is like a suitcase that stores information about the player. All right. In Code Combat, it's the boots that allow us to make these movement methods. As the game continues, you get more armor weapons that will give you access to additional methods. In Python, use important lines to import libraries or modules. These are bundles of functions for you to use. So we'll get to that long. Don't worry about that too. Just to know that if you go to use Python somewhere else and it's not part of Code Combat, it may not have the method move right or move left. That's specific to what we're doing here. All right, does that all make sense? All right, now let's go ahead and do the first one, level 1. You're going to click on it, right? Over here is a little pause button. There's the sound. There's the music. Zoom in, zoom out. And what you're going to do is you're going to need to move right, move down, and move right. You don't move to the gym. You're going to see that purple code. You're going to need to type this in. Self dot move right, self move down, self move right. And then you hit run. If you need help, click on help and it'll tell you. You can click on each one of these methods and it'll give you examples, show you how to do it. All right? And the second one, you're going to repeat some of the same commands. You can repeat commands. You'll see that in the next level. And sometimes you always don't go the straightest route, as third and fourth levels will do it. So I want you to go ahead. Let's have everybody work a couple levels now. All right, let's everybody work the first 3 levels. Let me know when you've gotten that far, guys. But take your time. It's not a big rush. We'll go through them together. And I'm going to stay a little bit later since I ran later. Getting this thing to run. All right. I'll just wait here. Somebody have a question? Again, you're just going to repeat these commands, either self-move down, self-move left, self-move right, or self-move up. Okay, folks, let me just ask, how are we all doing here how are we doing, Kelsey? You getting there?
I did one level.
Good job.
Yes, I did one level. It's very hard.
Oh, it's very hard? Well, just
Yes.
take your time, and we'll just try it out. If this is too much, we didn't want to keep doing Scratch. We tend to do Scratch a lot, and kids have been doing it. But I think maybe we'll find out. I'll talk to Mr. Taylor, and we may have you guys start off with a little bit of Scratch next time. Okay?
Okay.
But keep trying. Let's just go through the first couple levels, and I'll gladly help everybody. All right. Hamilton, how are we doing?
Good.
Good. Owen, how are we doing?
Good.
What level are you on, partner?
Level 4.
You're crunching it. Well done. Just take our time. Melanie. Hello. Okay, I'm just going to mute myself there. We're working through Code Combat. You just joined us. If you're just joining us now, we work through Code Combat. And what we're doing is we're just going to learn a little bit of programming, introducing tonight. Let me know, raise your hand, Melanie, if you are excuse me, I should say, if you've done Scratch before. Raise your hand. Okay, so you have done Scratch. Have you done any Python? Raise your hand. Okay, now I have some of these questions here. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, now what you're going to do is go to Melanie. Go ahead and go to beyond Chrome and go to what's called Code Combat. Sign up for the free. Don't do the paying service. You don't need to for what we're doing. And we're going to work our way through these tutorials. A little bit of them. We're just going to run around and set it up there. Okay, let's get signed up. Okay, make sure you select the character. Make sure you're selecting Python. It defaults to Python. I'm going to re-explain it so we have since he's joining us, or since they're joining us, we got a late starter here. Go ahead and look at the screen. I know you're playing it. Okay, we're going to teach some coding. We wanted to do something a little different than just Scratch all the time. Those Scratches just come out now, and you can tie hardware into it. I was wearing a joystick to it. It's very exciting. Very, very pumped about it. All right, in any case, so here we have, you get your Python default here, and you select your character, and you're going to see these commands when you equip your character. Self move down, boots, and there are going to be these commands next to it. So, self is your character. And then you have methods. Methods, think a little bit like functions, but they're dependent on what it is. So think of it this way. If the self was a bird and you had bird dot, you would have bird dot fly, it'd be fish dot swim. So you see how what they do is dependent on what they are. Same thing here. So in this case, self, that's your character. If they wear these boots, they can move up and down. So you have self dot move down. Functions are named, reusable sequences of code. You got print and input. So you have that. So for example, look at the built-in function block on the left, scratch. If on edge, bounce. If touching edge, then point in this direction. This is on edge bounce is equivalent of 5 of these blocks. Instead of using 5 to the right, you can just use one of the blocks. So since you've had some scratch, this is a function, if on edge, that comes in scratch and really means it's basically this bit of code right here. All right. So then you get these methods. This is your player dot move down. So self dot move down. All right. Parentheses. The object here is self, which refers to your player. Self is actually a variable that stores information about your player, like their location. In Code Combat, it's boots that allow us to use these move methods. Got self dot move down, self move left, move right, move up. As the game continues, you get more armor and weapons that will give you access to additional methods. In Python, you use import lines to import libraries or modules. These are bundles of functions for you to use. That's just a fancy, I don't even care that you really remember this. Just simply know that the methods we use here for this game may not be out there if you use Python for, say, Minecraft or something. They're different. It depends on the version, the modules you have installed in your Python. Just think in Python a book, and we can add chapters to the book, but we don't want to make the book so huge we can't carry it around. So there's the basic book, and then if you use if you get these additional chapters, you get these additional methods. But a lot of times you don't need those methods for something else. All right? So we have self move down, we have self move right, we had self move left. Okay? In case you get completely stuck, you can always use the help button. All right? Click on help, it'll show you these methods right here. So in the very first level 1, you're going to go in there, and in this case, you're going to see in purple, these are comments, little pound signs, and you're going to type in self move right, self move down, self move right. So that's going to take the character, move it right, then down, then right. Then you're going to hit run, and then you're going to do the second one. You can always use the help to help you out. If you can't remember, click on that. So when people get through the first 3 or so, or 4, let's go ahead on to the next. Raise your hand once you've done that so I know when I can go on. All right, I've got 2 people of the 4 that said they've gone on. We'll give it a few more minutes, and I want to explain the next part of this. And so this is something you can do on your own as you learn more and more about programming. Okay, we got, leave your hands up once we get started on that. I'm going to go ahead. Hang on here a second. All right, folks, I'm going to show you another method, and if you're not there, that's okay, but we'll let everybody else see these other methods. All right? Okay, so the next method is self-attack target. Well, you know, you had self just a second ago. We were using self-move. Now we're doing self-attack. We are in an adventure game after all. Okay? All right? And you've got self-attack method. So what it is we do self, that's us, our character, attack, dot attack, as opposed to dot move, and in quotations, treg. That's the name of the enemy. Notice it is, you got to use quotations, and it's case sensitive. In other words, if you got to spell it, just type it just the way you see it. All right? Attack the nearest enemy once using a variable. Enemy equals self dot find nearest enemy, self attack enemy. All right, target object self find nearest enemy. All right. So don't worry, we haven't gotten to the self find nearest enemy. That's another method where we assign a value. So if you don't quite understand that, don't worry about it yet. This case, it's going to attack treg. Self-find nearest enemy, you just wait to see you find an enemy. Like you don't know who your enemy is, you use this method. But we'll get that down the road. So right now, you're just going to use self-attack and it's parentheses, quotation, the name of your enemy. And they'll provide you the name of the enemies, okay? All right, but this gets us into a thing that computers have different kinds of variables. You have integers, those are 4. Floating point numbers, that's just numbers with decimal points, 4.0. Strings, which is a fancy way of saying letters and whatnot, is 4, F-O-R-U. And Boolean is yes or no, true or false, on or off, 0 or 1. Boolean is yes or no, true or false, on or off. It's one or the other, can't be anything else. And the reason we use Boolean is it saves us memory, makes our program run faster. So in this one, we have self move right, self attack the monster Brack, quotation, capital B, R-A-K, quotation, parentheses, and then treg. The names in this case are strings, we just said are letters, and it's going to self attack that. So go ahead and that's enough for now that I'm going to tell you. I want you to go ahead and go through a couple levels. Remember to get, outfit your character with health and things, or you're going to really struggle sometimes. And then we're going to get to loops, would be the last thing we may or not get to. But at least let's get you this method attack, I think is where we really need to get you today. I think loops is going to be a little bit much for us tonight. Any questions, raise your hands. I'm here to answer them. If you've got questions, getting frustrated, please ask. I'll help. Hopefully nobody's getting frustrated, and that's a moot point, but folks, still here, so please, if you got a question, raise your hand. Has anybody gotten up to the point of loops? Raise your hand if you're in Python doing loops. All right, Owen, good job. Do you have any questions about that, Owen? Nobody else is up at that level, and that's understandable. You've had some programming back there. Just a reminder, folks in Raleigh, you've got a lab Saturday. Miss Caroline will be there. Okay, folks. How we doing? I'm going to stay right here for those people that need a hand. On level 7, doing well. Good job. Okay, we've kind of we're losing people because it is getting a little bit later, but if you want, I'm staying here. Lost one person, I should say. We'll stay to 7:15. It's 7:08 now. We'll stay to 7:15. Okay, someone's got. All right, we're down to 2. Hey, let me see. Bye. It's 7:08. I thought I didn't say I have lots of work I need to do. All right, I understand. Go ahead and work on it, Kelsey. All right. I just wanted to stay. I felt bad that we got a little bit later start because of the problems I had at my end. Okay. Owen, I think you're probably good to go because you seem like you knew this more than anybody. Are you? Do you have any questions? All right. If that's it, we're going to go ahead and stop then, Owen. Okay? Do you have any questions, bud? I have a feeling you're just crunching this thing. All right, then. Take care, Owen.